So my brother, now today's video is going to be a solid one. These things that I'm about to share with you will make you excel as a high value man. These are things that I learned from my own experience. Now I'm going to go ahead and kick things off kind of light, but then as we move on, I'm going to really dig deep here. So hey, my goal with this video is to not only transform the way that you think as a man, but the way that you operate as a man. So let's go ahead and kick it off right away with number one. We got high value men never overthink. Quick story. Now, I remember when I was 13 years old, I was the starting guard of my junior high basketball team. I remember we started off the season, I think game one, I had 24 points. Game two, had about 16. And so I was having some good games. But shortly after, I remember we had a teacher versus students kind of event that the school held, and it was pretty cool. You know, they would typically do this once a year, and so this was my year to go against the teachers. And I'm not gonna lie, like some of the teachers were actual, you know, they were ballers, like they knew how to play. So anyways, just a couple days prior, I remembered that I asked this girl to be my girlfriend, right? And so she shows up to that game. This is the first game that she's ever watching me play. And I remember right before the game started, I look up to the stands and I see her, right? And then all of a sudden, something happens. My heart starts beating, my palms are getting all sweaty, I'm getting all nervous, getting all tense. And then I start thinking some wild thoughts, bro, like, oh shoot, what if today I have a bad game? What if today I miss all my shots and I go completely scoreless? Start thinking all these thoughts like, oh shoot, you know, what if she thinks I'm a chump? So anyways, we head to center court, the ref throws up the ball, the game starts. Our center, he's 6'4", 13 years old. He's ranked like top 14 in the nation at that time. So he easily gets the jump ball, taps it to me, ball's in my hands. Game starts, and rather than doing what I usually do, which is set up a good play, look to score, what do? I get rid of it. I don't want it. I think to myself, I ain't shooting this thing. What if I miss and she sees me? So for the whole first entire 2 quarters, I don't make any field goals. I don't even attempt them. On top of that, I'm just playing scared. I'm fumbling the ball. Dudes are picking my pocket. The coach is wondering what the hell is going on, so he takes me out of the game. And then I believe by halftime, I think I had 1 point. I think I went to the free throw line once, made one, missed one type of thing. And so as we are about to begin the third quarter, the next half, I look up to the stands and I see my girlfriend walk out. She just gets up and leaves, and I don't know if she was bored or if she had somewhere to go, but all of a sudden, I'm just being honest with you, bro, the second I see her leave the stadium, all of a sudden, all my nervousness is gone. And now I'm actually super excited because, hey, now that she's gone, now I can just play like myself, play fearlessly. And what happens for the entire rest of the game, the third and fourth quarter, your boy's on fire. I can't miss. I even remember I had my science teacher. He was this big, tall, maybe 6'3" black dude, and he's one of my favorite teachers. But anyways, he's playing in the game, and I remember I get the ball at the 3-point line. This is at the very tail end of the game, and he thinks he's gonna like make a fool out of me in front of the whole school. So he runs up to me. At this time, I'm only about 5'1", and he jumps up in the air to block my shot. He jumps up as high as he can. I'll never forget his face. He was like that, and he went to swat me. He thought for sure he got me. And the ball leaves my fingertips and just barely skims across his. I think he said like he could kind of like feel it, like barely graze by. And that sucker, I sunk it, and the whole crowd just goes wild. And he looks back, he sees it goes in, he looks back at me, and then he can do nothing but just dap me up. All in all, what I'm trying to get at here, my brother, is that dating, being with a woman, it's kind of like sports in a way. There's so many times where I see dudes who overthink everything, and they get themselves all worked up, just like I did in the game. They crumble apart. They create all this unnecessary pressure in their head, thinking about, oh my gosh, what am I gonna say? What am I gonna do? Oh man, what if it gets quiet? What if things get kind of awkward? I heard Matthew Hussey, I think that's how you say his name. He said this one time. He said, stop trying to make diamonds out of your first dates. Instead, make them more like snowflakes. See, snowflakes, they're never perfect, right? In fact, all of them are all, you know, they're all unique, and they all are different from each other, and they all have their own unique little imperfections, right? Yet at the end of the day, they're all still beautiful. And just like how my girl got super bored watching me play in that basketball game, your girl is gonna get bored the more you try to not mess up. See, hey, mess ups are what makes the date fun. It's what makes things a little off kilter, a little spontaneous. And we've talked about this before. Girls, what do they want? They want to feel something, right? And so, hey, imagine if I just would have took my shots in that game. What if I just went for it? and faced my fears. Say I threw up 20 shots, and even if I did have a bad game, say I only made 30%, that's 6 points. Hey, 6 points, that's a lot more exciting than scoring 0, zilch, right? I mean, at least she would have been up in the stands rooting for me jumping out of her seat, right? And that's a lot more exciting than just see me doing nothing out there. So hey, loosen your goose, bro. Stop trying to not look like an idiot. The more that you try to not look like an idiot, the more of an idiot you actually look. I'm here letting you know that it's totally okay to not have a perfect date. A perfect date can actually be kind of boring. I mean, if you don't have that spontaneity, I mean, what kind of funny stories are you gonna be able to tell your children of how mommy and daddy met, right? Like, it's just gonna be a boring story. Number 2, high value men pour in. Now, I'm about to lose a lot of dudes here. Some of y'all ain't ready for this, so try to keep up. You want your girl to be obsessed with you? What are you pouring into her? See, hey, look, real men are an asset. I heard TD Jakes say that one time. Real men pour in, loser men take. See, at the core of every man, there's either one of 2 things that drive him: love or lust. And those 2 things right there are 2 drastically different things. Love gives, lust takes. Now, excuse my language, you guys know I'm not much of a cusser, but hey, I'll have my editor bleep it out. Men, lust-driven men, the first thing that they always focus on with a girl is what can they take from her, right? So my question to you is, what do you have to give? I'll tell you what, you can't give what you don't have. And the sad reality is that most men ain't got nothing. So here, let me kind of explain here. So this is kind of where we get the whole term daddy energy from. The man who exudes daddy energy can't be beat. And the sad reality is that most men think daddy energy is just, they think it's a vibe. They think it's just something that you turn on, when in actuality, it's far from that. See, daddy energy isn't, having good posture and a nice masculine wide stance. It's not having a perfectly sculpted hairstyle, wearing a suit and tie, having a blue check mark next to your IG handle that you pay $14.99 a month for. It ain't that, bro. Let me ask you this. Daddy energy, first of all, what does a good dad do? What does a good father, what's his purpose? What does he do? He pours in, he provides, he gives his time, he gives his energy, his attention, he gives his input, his advice. He gives himself wholeheartedly. And most men don't know how to do this. Most men, even in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, they've got nothing to give. Their mindset is always, what can I take? Firstly, oh, she's so hot, bro. Oh, I would like to get a slice of that booty. Oh, let me post this picture of my abs so I can get more likes. Let me showcase all my possessions so I can get more oohs and ahs, so I can get this, so I can get that. It's always get. Take. See, us men were designed to pour in. Let me ask you this. What happens when a man allows a woman to pour into him? Let's take it back to our ancestral roots. Let's take it back to the book of Genesis when Adam allowed his wife Eve to pour into him. What happened in that instant, in that moment? It destroyed human order. All of a sudden, Adam, when he started eating the fruit out of his wife's hand, boom, sin entered the world, and things have never been the same since. See, us men were designed to pour into women, and what do women do? They receive it and increase it. It's just like semen. They take it, they make it, right? And the sad reality is that culture is trying to create women to be more like men. Women are literally praised, not for being sweet, soft, and feminine. Nah. Women are literally now being praised for being hard, for being tough, for being independent, resistant, hateful even. Why is this unattractive to us men? Because now there's no longer a need for us men. There's nothing left for us to pour into. So note to feminists, you can't go bragging about how you don't need a man and then wonder why we all run away from you. Our natural desire is to pour in. Even something like, say, as small and infinitesimal as like she comes up to you and says, oh, can you open up this jar for me? And what do? Wait. You pop it right open, right? And like you do it like effortlessly, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you're so strong." Or how about like when she comes to you for advice, and so you give it, and then she says, "Oh my gosh, you always have the perfect thing to say. You always know exactly how to make me feel better." That feels good, right? And that's simply because we're designed to do this. We're designed to fill her up, to pour into her. And the better that you become at this, the more obsessed she'll be about the idea of you being her man. And check this out, bro. This will kind of blow your mind. This is where it all kind of comes together. This goes exactly along with what I'm saying. When you hear these stories of these women, these wives cheating on their husbands, I'm not trying to excuse the behavior by any means, but check this out. There's a pattern here. When she goes off and she starts talking and starts flirting with this other guy, say at work, what happens before she sleeps with him? It's an emotional affair at first, right? She's getting filled up by this man. She's getting something from him that she's not getting from her husband. This dude is literally doing what her husband should be doing, which is pour into her. And then that emotional affair becomes now sexual. So hey, final note, to pour in, you can't be dry. An empty jar is useless. And so you gotta ask yourself every morning when you wake up, what are you inputting? What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you viewing? What are you listening to? Are you tuning into God? Or are you just waking up, just going with the flow of life? As a man, you gotta ask yourself, how can I turn myself into an absolute asset? Look, you can have a sweet six-pack. You can have some sweet drip, a sweet fit, some dope kicks. You can have a hairstyle as spectacular as Alex Costa, right? All long, wavy, and flowy. Which is great, which is cool. But if you're empty in here, you ain't got nothing. No girl is thirsty over some empty jar. Now the last one, number 3, high value men never practice with low quality women. Men these days, they think, oh, you know, I need to date around, sleep around, so that way I can gain experience points, right? The only problem with this kind of thinking is it's immature. It's the way you think when you first hit puberty. The sad thing of it is that most men, they just continue to think this way. And don't get me wrong, I used to think this way all the time. I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? I remember even when I was addicted to for all those years, I used to think, well, I need to watch this, right? Because it's gonna help me understand how to please my wife better, right? And when actuality, you know, I didn't put into consideration that it's just gonna cause a whole nother plethora of problems. Anyways, when you go the route of sleeping or being with all these degenerate women, gaining all these experience points, the only problem is that these experience points aren't the right experience points. They don't even count towards the right type of women. Think about it. You really think that the experience you get from being with a low quality woman is prepping you, is preparing you for the high quality woman? Bro, I guarantee you, the way that you act around degenerate chicks is not the way that you're gonna act around your wife. I used to think when I was like really little, I used to watch all these Hollywood movies and think to myself, oh yeah, that's how I'm gonna act around my wife. Oh yeah, I'm gonna be Mr. Top G, Mr. Seducer, right? Next thing you know, you're 5 years into your marriage taking a big doo-doo in front of her. No, but for real, bro, the way that you attract low quality chicks is going to be drastically different from the way that you attract high quality chicks. Why? Because high quality chicks want drastically different things than low quality chicks. So the experience points don't even convert. It's an entirely different currency. So why invest all this time into all this experience that doesn't even convert? That's like spending your whole life training in the gym expecting to be a world champion chess player. Just because you train hard in the gym and doesn't make you a good chess player. Same thing with dating. All you're gonna know is how to date degenerate chicks. And it's not even helping you become a better man. It's actually teaching you how to be a worse man. Because low quality chicks, they don't challenge you to become your better self. So in actuality, you're training yourself to be your lowest self. And see, that's it right there, bro. At the end of the day, this is the cold hard truth. You are a reflection of the women that you date. You think a high quality man is gonna be messing with low quality chicks? Heck no, bro, it's gross, sick, disgusting. How about instead, let's take a season, maybe that's 6 months, maybe that's a year, maybe that's 3 or 4 or even 5 years. How about you take a season and close that door? You wanna know how to separate yourself as a man and have women see you differently? This is it. See, most men aren't doing this. Most men aren't taking a season to be celibate, to focus on this right here, their relationship with God. It's funny because most men, they want a relationship with a woman, but they don't even have a relationship with Christ. What the frick? It doesn't even make sense, bro. You think that you can keep up with a relationship with a girl when you can't even keep up with this relationship? I mean, seriously, bro, how are you gonna fail at this relationship but then automatically think you're just gonna excel in this one with a woman? If you can't get this one right, you're gonna have a hard time getting this one right. I mean, a relationship with Christ, to me, is a lot more easier. I mean, he's already done most of the work. But with a girl, now we're talking a lot of responsibility, bro. If you can't even keep up with this, what's that say about you? Maybe. And you gotta be real with yourself. Maybe it's because you're a taker and you're not looking to pour in. You're not looking at what you can give a girl. You're looking at what you can take from her. See, if we as men, if we really cared about what we could give, then we would spend less time investing all our time into these low quality girls and instead invest time into becoming the ultimate man of God that we are called to be. And we would do that firstly, so that way when we meet that high quality woman, now we're capable of filling her up because now we have a lot more to give. Our jar isn't empty, it's full. So hey, my brother, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it a nice big thumbs up. Hit the notifications button to be informed when I drop my next one, and check out this video right here. It's powerful. And I'll catch you on the next one. Peace always.